Good morning, everybody. Good day, whatever time it is in the world that you're living, or whatever time it is where you're watching me from. Great day. Let me know if you can see and hear me well. Great day to all of you. Tag and share, share and tag. Tag and share and tag. Good day, good day, good day. I hope that all is well with you on today. And if by chance you don't think it is, then we most certainly have a remedy and a solution for that. Tag and share, share and tag. Tag and share, share and tag. Tag and share and tag. So delighted to be with you here today. Almighty, we thank you for all that you are. We thank you for all that you have been. We thank you that we are already one with you. Thank you for your guidance today. Thank you for our explosive self-discovery, explosive revelation from you. Thank you for all that you are to us in this moment and in this hour. Lead us and guide us. Thank you that the very best of you is done in us, with us, and through us. Thank you for miracles and signs and wonders. We give you praise and glory in this moment and in this hour. Thank you, Yeshua. It is so. And so it is. Good morning. So glad to be with you again on today. And of course, I always like to encourage us to express gratitude and be thankful to God. Why are we thanking Him? We're thanking him because he's good. We're thanking him because he's gracious. We're thanking him because he's loving and he's kind. We're thanking God for all and all. So I want you to just take a few moments at this particular time and just thank him. Thank him for who he is to you. Thank him for what God has been to you. Thank God for the provision. Thank God for a sound mind. Thank God for food, clothing, and shelter. Thank God for intelligence. Thank him for love. Thank him for family. Whatever things in your personal life you attribute to him, and you know he has, that God most certainly has impacted you in this way. And this is the time to be grateful. This is the time to express your gratitude. And this is the time to be thankful. We are thankful unto him, and we bless his name. We are thankful unto him, and we bless his name. One writer said, from the rising of the sun to the going down of the same, the Lord's name is worthy to be praised. Next thing I want you to do is I want you to type in the comment section, I can. I want you to type that in the comment section. I can. I can. I can do all things through Christ. I can overcome. I can make it through. I can persevere. I can conquer all. I can master myself. I can master the things around me. I can get the job done. I can make it. Yes, I can. It is a constant reminder of what I can do. So many times people focus on the not part, the I can't. But we've got to focus on the I can, because the I am can. Yes, I can make it. Yes, I can endure. Yes, I can overcome. Yes, I can make it through. Yes, I can see the light at the end of the tunnel. Yes, I can own this business. Yes, I can have a successful business. Yes, I can recover from loss. I can recover from betrayal. I can recover from disappointment. Glory to God. We thank you that I can. I want you to own it. I want you to feel it. I want you to become that confidence. I want that to be the cognitive energy that you operate by, the cognitive energy that exudes from you, that is constantly cycling within you, that I can. So, more responsibilities may have been placed on you. Well, I can do it. I can handle it. I can deal with it. You can, because you're not by yourself. You recognize that you have the aid of God, the support of God, the support of the divine, and the world that he's put in place. It's unlimited in resources and supply to work as your partner. And then last but not least, I always want you to recognize within the midst of everything that no matter what's going on in your life, you're made in the image and the likeness of God. Whatever you think, imagine, and speak, manifest, crystallizes and hardens into reality. You are a divine species. Because you are a divine species, I am powerful. The I am is a part of you, and you are powerful. I want you to type it in the comment section. I am powerful. Own it, feel it, know it, see it, embrace it. I am powerful. I'm powerful enough to change situations, circumstances. I'm powerful enough to come back from the dead. I'm powerful enough to unbury myself where others have entombed and enshrined me enshrined me. I am powerful enough to speak it and it comes into existence. I want you to own that power. I want you to be that power. I want you to know at all times that I am powerful. Well, happy day. Happy day to you. I hope and trust that things are going well with you. And I hope and trust that if you don't think they are, that there is enough power in you and enough partnership from God and enough inspiration that I will release today that will surely enable you to rise and ascend above whatever place you find, whatever situation that is that you are dealing with here on today. So excited and delighted to be with you. Let's go to the word quickly. Acts 17. We're in Acts 17. I believe it's 28. Acts 17 and 28. Acts 17 and 28. Talking from this text and other particular texts, Acts 17 and 28. For in him we live and move and have our being, as certain also of our own prophets have said, for we are his offspring. For we are his offspring. Read verse 29. For as much then as we are the offspring of God, we ought not to think that the Godhead is like unto gold or silver or stone, graven by art and man's devices. Wonderful, wonderful. Thank you for tagging and sharing. I'm going to continue my discussion with you on the power within. Guide us, great Almighty God. Thank you for your guidance today, for your leadership. Thank you for clarity, context, understanding. We bless you now. Thank you so much, Yeshua. It is so, and so it is. So I kind of want to pick up where I left off last week, and that is, of course, reminding you, of course, that you are a spirit being and that you existed before you came into this body, which is known today in many circles as an avatar or an avatar body. We've shown you from scripture, from Ecclesiastes 12 and 7, that when you die, of course, your body will decompose and go back to the earth. The scripture says your spirit returns to God who gave it. And then Jeremiah 1 and 5, as the Almighty is having a conversation with Jeremiah, he informs him that before he was formed in the biological and physiological sense, in the womb, constructed in the womb, he let him know that he knew him, meaning that he knew him intimately, meaning that he had relationship with him. Because I shared with you that the word K-N-E-W, knew, is also a sexual idiom for intimacy. So the Almighty is saying in this text that he had relationship with him. He didn't just have knowledge of him. He had relationship with him. That means that we had relationship with God. And then he went on to let him know that he had already been sanctified, set apart, marked, and ordained or approved or endorsed to be a prophet, or in our case, ordained or approved to be who and what we are in this world. And so I want to remind you that you existed before you came here, and you will continue to exist after you leave here. The end physically, the physical end of this physical body is not the annihilation of your lifespan. It is not the termination of your being. It is really you being launched into another dimension, you continuing to exist as you were in a spirit body, as a spirit being before you came here. And of course, I encouraged you in previous installments that we embrace these things by faith. But although I can say that in modern times, uh, the study of quantum physics is shedding light on many things that we consider to be spiritual and metaphysical principles, empowering us with even more faith, empowering us with even more certification that what we have believed or are coming to believe is most definitely reality. And so it takes faith to embrace the spiritual side of yourself, the spiritual and metaphysical dimensions of your being. Recognize that these things are initiated by faith. So we are spirit. That means we are invisible. Invisible. Now you said, well, how are we invisible? Well, the spiritual side of you is invisible. And as I've shared with you before, I believe the physical is a projection of the spiritual. Well, why would I say that? Because in the biblical text, Paul says, whether in the body or out of the body, he could not tell. He apparently had an out-of-body experience, and his spiritual body looked similar to his physical body. And he had a difficult time being able to grasp sensually exactly where he was or what he was. But I want you to understand that the spiritual us, the spiritual you, is invisible. It is also supernatural, which means that it is above the natural. It is immortal, which means that it is not bound by the constraints of physical mortality. It is incorporeal, which means that it is not of flesh and blood. And therefore, the you that is spirit exists as energy, but yet in a dimension that is superior to the physical. It is superior to the physical. And I've shared with you 1 Thessalonians 5:23 that talks about the tripartite existence of our being. And then I believe that we went to 1 Corinthians 2:9-11. And then last but not least, I want to touch on James 2:26, who tells us that the body cannot live without the spirit. Your biological functions are powered by your spiritual functions. It's powered by your spiritual life. And so I want you to start identifying more with being a spiritual metaphysical being, a spiritual metaphysical, also multi-dimensional being. I want you to embrace this, and I want you to know this. Now, last week we had a wonderful group on, and there were a lot of people who were inspired and at the same time shocked when I perused through about 4 or 5 of the creation stories of other religions. I took some time and shared about 4 or 5, I guess, around that number of creation stories of other religions. And I quoted from these religions whose ancient texts were thousands of years older than biblical texts. And there was one common thread that could be seen in all of these, or that connects, I should say, all of these creation stories, including the biblical one. And that is, in some way, shape, form, or fashion, a superior being created lesser beings, or a superior being created other superior beings who created lesser beings. This was one common thread that runs through a lot of the creation stories. And I even shared with you from one of the creation stories how a serpent was present in that creation story. A lot of people were pleasantly surprised, but at the same time enlightened. And that's a good thing, because I want you to understand whether the world has a problem accepting it or not. Texts that predate Christianity have a seamless thread that run through it to tell us that we are superior spiritual beings. We are superior spiritual beings. We're not just flesh and blood. We're not just physical, three-dimensional beings. We are spiritual beings. And as I have taught you, being made in the image and the likeness of God, you are one with God. I dare say you are a little God. I dare say you are a divine species. I've been saying, and I'm going to continue to say it, and the creation stories basically tell us that, even from other religions. What has happened as we have moved forward through what we call time is that there's been a disconnection and a disassociation from spirituality in that regard. And there's been a disconnection, a disassociation, and if I might say so myself, a dumbing down in terms of knowledge and awareness of our spiritual being, our spiritual essence, our spiritual species, the status or the native status or the native category that we're a part of as a God class, as a spiritual species. So as a result of that, many people believe that the physical determines what happens. Many people believe that the decisions other people make determines their reality. Many people believe that creation is the responsibility of a God who lives in the sky, of a God who lives in a castle somewhere, of a God who lives in a palace somewhere. When the truth be told, reality is co-created. And I do believe that things are finished, but within the realm of the reality is co-creating an experience to extract from what's already done in partnership with an almighty God. Creation is not just up to the God we believe in. Creation is up to us in partnership with God. And I know some have been eager for me to talk about what the I am is. And one day when I think you're ready, I'm going to share with you what the I am is. What's more important is that you know that God is already a part of you and you are a part of God. I touched on this last week as well to kind of show you that God does not come into the picture after you repent. He does not come into the picture after you have some kind of religious experience. He is already a part of you. He's already one with you before you are aware or have the sense of awareness through your religious experience that he is already present. So I want you to begin to embrace as a part of your identity that you are a spiritual species, that you are of God class, that you were made in the image and the likeness of the Almighty God. And because identity carries with it certain a set of characteristics, then there are characteristics that indicate that you are of this God class and that you are of this God species. And of course, I've talked a little bit about natural genetics as well as spiritual genetics, and I'm not going to get into that. But I want you to understand that as it relates to your ability to operate spiritually and your ability to operate from this supernatural space and place, it is predicated again upon belief that creates awareness, belief that creates awareness, or faith that creates awareness. So I want you to type it in the comment section with me. Faith creates awareness. Faith creates awareness. Kind of doing some tricky things with the keyboard now. Faith creates awareness. I want you to type that in the comment section. Faith creates awareness. Faith creates awareness. Faith creates awareness. When you and I believe something, when you and I use faith for something, an awareness takes place. If it's faith in ourselves, then an awareness of who we are. If it's faith in God, then an awareness of who God is. If it's faith in certain things that you've taught or being taught, and then all of a sudden you start operating in it, then an awareness is created. Okay? Faith creates awareness. Now listen to me. Listen to me. I'm getting ready to quote from one of the greatest mystics in the 20th century, named Neville Goddard. And I don't want you to be scared of the quote. I want you to listen to the quote, and then I'm going to break the quote down. It has everything to do with us embracing identity, because contained within the understanding of identity is the ability to wield and release the power. It is the ability to utilize the power that is resident in us. And this is what he says. He says, I am, your true self, is not interested in man's opinion. All its interest lies in your conviction of yourself. What do you say of the I am within you? Can you answer and say, I am Christ? Neville Goddard believed that we were one with God, so don't let that trip you up. He asked the question, can you answer and say, I am Christ? He goes on to say, your answer or degree of understanding will determine the place you will occupy in life. Do you say or believe yourself to be a man of a certain family, race, nation, etc.? Do you honestly believe this of yourself? Then life, your true self, will cause these conceptions to appear in your world, and you will live with them as though they are real. If you find that interesting, that quote, type it in the comment section. Yes, because I want to break it down a little bit. If you find that quote to be interesting, type yes, and I will go through it again because it relates to what we are discussing today. And we're talking about your spiritual identity. Thank you for the yes. We're talking about your spiritual identity. Okay. The I am self is the God self that is already a part of you. And I'm not going to get too deeply into that. You and I are already a part of the I am. When he says in Exodus, I am that I am, that is the supreme almighty God, the supreme almighty being, whom we believe is responsible for the creation of all things. Well, remember in Genesis, this I am has already breathed himself into Adam, his nostrils, meaning that he breathed himself into the prototypical man, and the descendants of Adam are or continue to have the I am or the God as a part of them. So when Neville talks about the I am, he's talking about God. He says the I am, your true self, is not interested in man's opinion. Okay. And too many times we are interested in the opinion of other people. And when we use the opinion of other people to define us. Ooh, and don't get me wrong, there should be some people that we trust who are able to speak the correct words into our lives and over our lives that we can receive in a positive sense, that we can receive, in a positive sense, that helps us to embrace true identity. The challenge is when you are allowing people of significance in your life to speak things that are the opposite of who you really are, the opposite of who you've really been created to be, and then you embrace these words as reality, and it's filled with poisonous negativity and sends you down the wrong path. These are the things that we should reconsider in terms of who we listen to. He goes on to say, all its interests, meaning the I am, lies in your conviction of yourself. Conviction is an inner convincing. And it's interesting because faith has a component of conviction attached to it. When it says in Hebrews 11:1, now faith is the substance of things hoped for. It is the evidence of things not seen. The word faith is used in the text. It's the Greek word pistis. It is a conviction of religious truth concerning God. That's pretty much that definition for faith that you'll see in the concordance when you look up the word faith, which is the Greek word pistis in Hebrews 11:1. You've got to have a conviction or an inner convincing within yourself, period. I want you to hear me real clearly. I can have this conviction for you. Listen to me. I can partner with you to send this conviction to you. It is still up to you to embrace whatever partnership I provide to help elevate you. You've got to embrace it with a conviction, with an inner convincing. You must be convinced. All right? You must be convinced of the word. You must be convinced of the truth. You must be convinced of whatever it is you are seeking to embrace. I want you to hear me real clearly. If you're not convinced, see, I can partner with you. I don't want to get too deep with you today. I can partner with you to manifest a reality that you desire. But at some point in time, even in the partnership, you've got to, by conviction, embrace the truth that I might be transmitting to you through partnership. You've got to develop an inner convincing with the partnership, with the positive words that are being spoken to you. I want you to realize that that is a key ingredient to faith, is conviction. All right. So all this interest, Neville Goddard says, lies in your conviction of yourself. What do you say of the I am within you? That's a good question. Most people don't know about the I am, but they don't know that God is already a part of them. He goes on to say, can you answer and say, I am Christ, meaning I am anointed, or meaning that I am one with God? Can you say that? Moving forward, in his quote, he says, your answer or degree of understanding will determine the place you will occupy in life. My goodness. In all that getting understanding, that scriptural text. So he's trying to say to us that your answer or your degree of understanding concerning the I am, concerning whether you're one with God or not, whether God is a part of you and you are a part of him, okay, your understanding, your answer, concerning this question or your degree of understanding, it's going to determine the place you occupy in this life. Let me pause there. Let me pause there and say this. What you and I understand about God and ourselves determines the life we live, which means it determines the reality that we live. I'm going to say it in a different way. What you believe determines the kind of life that you live. If you continue to think that you have no control of your reality, then you're living that life. You're controlling it all alone with a belief that I don't control it. So what you do is you give your power away to other people to control it. You're still controlling it. You're just controlling it with a belief that you're not in control. Your degree of understanding will determine the place you will occupy in life. My degree of understanding, your degree of understanding, others' degree of understanding determines the kind of life that they are living right now. If you keep thinking I got to prove something to God for him to help me, then you will find yourself on the hamster wheel of life, running that same course over and over again, trying to prove yourself good enough, trying to prove yourself worthy, trying to get the attention of the Almighty to accept you. If you have that belief, then you will manifest that belief in your life. If you keep thinking that it is hard to please God, if you keep thinking that it is hard to get his attention, then guess what reality you're going to manifest? A reality where you're going to be stressed because you feel like you're in the zone of displeasure as it relates to the Creator. What is your degree of understanding? Okay, I want you to type in the comment section, what is the degree of my understanding? This is the question Neville Goddard asked. So I'm asking you the question. Type it in the comment section. What is the degree of my understanding? What is the degree of my understanding? It really is a great question. It really is a great question. Because when you start to embrace that life is lived based on what I understand, life is lived, and within that understanding is that conviction that I talked about a few minutes ago. Okay, so if you have a conviction, listen to this, that I am a victim, if you have convinced inwardly that I am a victim, listen to me, fam, then you're going to use your divinity to continue to manifest a victim's mentality. And I shared this statement that I learned from a mystic, and that statement is true. Things don't happen to you, they happen through you. I want you to understand that I am still learning to master that statement today. Okay, let's do this because this helps us to retain these principles. This helps us to retain these principles. So we're going to type it in the comment section. Things don't happen to me, they happen. You're having problems typing. They happen through me. I'm going to put it up on the screen. Things don't happen to me, they happen through me. I want you to type that in the comment section real quickly. Type that in the comment section real quickly. Type that in the comment section real quickly. Things don't happen to me, they happen through me. They happen through me. Type that in the comment section real quick. Thank you. When you and I embrace, this is powerful, because this has everything to do with what Neville Goddard mentioned in terms of our degree of understanding will determine the place you will occupy in life. When you realize that things happen in life, okay, and yes, things happen, and you have the approach. You get to choose the perception. You get to choose the perspective. You get to choose the approach, so to speak, or the perspective. You get to choose if it's happening to me, and then that's all I decide to understand, is that it's happening to me. So-and-so hurt me. That's happening to me. And don't get me wrong, that happened. I'm not minimizing that it happened. But if you just leave it at that it happened, like it was, and you limit it to it just happening against you, then your interpretation comes from it just happening to you, as if, listen to this, you have no power to control the act that was initiated by somebody else. I want to pause there for a couple of seconds so that you can properly absorb this. Things are being said about us every day. Things, listen to this, are being done to us every day. But the done to us interpretation is not where you want to hang your hat. It's not where you want to place your emphasis. It's not the perspective, or you don't want to allow it to inform your perception of self or perception of reality. Because if you stop there, then you will be a victim. Then you will think that reality consists largely of what other people do. But what I want you to understand is that reality is supposed to be generated not by what other people do, but it's supposed to be generated through you. It's supposed to be generated and produced by you. So if you're in a conversation and somebody hangs up on you, you got a choice. You can think that they don't like me, they disrespected me, and that means, there's something wrong with me. Or you can realize that they're the ones with the issue and choose to interpret it as such and continue to move forward. As my friend would say, keep it moving. Because it's happening through you. I'm going to say it again. It's happening through you. And whether you embrace this or have challenges with what I'm saying today or not, it's still going to be the truth. Because when you get off this wonderful broadcast today, you're going to face life. And it's still going to be happening through you, not to you. Simple as that. It's still going to be happening through you. And you can interpret it as it happening to you, but it will still be happening through you, because you will interpret the situation or the circumstance.
not other people. You will interpret it, and it will become your reality. And as I said before, this is something that I admit to you in transparency that I'm still learning to master in my own life, because I've been so accustomed to the to you part that was really happening through me, interpreting it as it happening to me. I knew I could react, but at the same time, I gave them power. I gave them power, not realizing that I have power now after my interpretation of a bad situation. Listen to this, to make it good and to ensure, watch this, that that situation by my own creative, in my own intrinsic internal power that I am, to ensure that that doesn't happen to me again, and that is not interpreted as something that happened to me, but it is interpreted through me, with an outcome I desire. Okay, I know I just said a lot there. If you understand what I just said, type it in the comment, yes, section yes or no, and I will make sure that you understand it. And I'm going to move on with this quote. Look like I'm going to spend a significant time in this quote. Did you understand what I just relayed, what I just conveyed? Type yes or no. Type yes or no, and I will give you another illustration. Somebody type yes, thank you. Anybody else? Just be honest, you're not on the spot. If you didn't understand it, you didn't understand it. We're here to get an understanding. There's nothing dumb or stupid here, nothing. If you don't understand it, no problem. That means I just need to elaborate on it even more. I got a couple of yeses. Everybody else wanted me, okay, I got another yes. All right, so if there's a no, I'll pause and give you another illustration. So I want you to thoroughly embrace that. I'm going to move on with the quote. But I'm going to repeat it again. Your answer or degree of understanding will determine the place you will occupy in this life. And that is, of course, about the question that he asked earlier in his quote. All right, moving forward. Do you say or believe yourself to be a man of a certain family, race, nation, etc.? Excuse me. Do you honestly believe this of yourself? Let me pause there. Now, I've been an activist for years. Before I moved here to Georgia, and I haven't done much since I've been in Georgia with anything locally, I'll admit that. But in Missouri, I was an activist for years, a part of some social justice organizations, leadership, so forth and so on. Went on television there locally, just did a lot of stuff. And in my heart, I'm still an activist. I still acknowledge the existence and the persistence of what we call racism. But I've learned not to define myself by color. I've learned to acknowledge that there are ills in this world that exist, such as racism. And I've got to do my part, listen to this, as a person of hue, shade, or color. But I don't allow race to happen to me anymore. I allow race to happen through me, which means I recognize that my true species as a spirit is not defined by a color nor connected to a color. It is transcendent of that. It is superior of that. Did you hear me? It is superior of that. So when I talk about racial matters now, and I get very passionate at times when I talk about it, I don't talk about it as a victim. Okay, I talk about it as a superior spiritual being who recognizes that in this physical experience, this three-dimensional experience that I'm having, that this is trapped, this philosophy, this mentality is trapped and exists in that realm. Are you following me? I am not a victim of it. I do not allow it to limit me. I do not allow the ignorant opinions of a race or multiple races of people to define me. I no longer am going to say I did not get that job, listen to this, because of my color. I recognize that that exists in the marketplace, that there are people who would try to stop me from advancing because of my color. But watch this. But I recognize as a divine species of a God class that you can't stop me unless I believe you can stop me. Okay, did what I just say make any sense to you? You can believe because gender prejudice does exist. And you can take the stand that because I'm a woman, they didn't hire me, or because I'm a black woman, they didn't hire me. Listen, if you believe that, you'll continue to manifest scenarios all the time. But if I know I'm of a God class, of a God species, who's one with God, who's empowered by God, then you can't stop me because I'm a woman. You can't stop me because I'm of African descent. Are you hearing what I'm saying? Because the God part of me now is aware that I can use this godness not to create scenarios and circumstances where doors are constantly closed in my face because of my race or gender. No, I kick those doors wide open because I recognize that I have power to do so. If you understand what I just said, I got one yes. Anybody else understand? Can you vibe with what I'm saying? Is it resonating in you right now with what I said? We know that the conditions exist in the three-dimensional physical world, but you and I are supposed to be living above those conditions. And we teach others to live above those conditions. So it's not just positive speak or talk in terms of equality, which we should teach and speak every day of our lives when the opportunity presents itself. But it's also a talk of being a God class, of a God species who possesses power to overcome all of that. And the reality to overcome all of that begins with the power that you and I possess, that shows us and demonstrates to us that we are above that. And then when we send it into the world, and when we send it into the universe as a thought through speech and through power, guess what it does? It creates realities and situations that kicks the door down, that runs over people who were there trying to oppose us because of color or gender. Are you hearing what I'm saying? And creates a reality where we rise above that and we attain the position, we attain the salaries, we attain the recognition, and we attain the notoriety. Hallelujah. I hope somebody's hearing me today. I hope somebody's hearing me today. I hope somebody's hearing me today. So if you say or believe yourself to be strictly and only, listen to this, I'm interpreting this now, strictly and only of a certain family, of a certain race, or of a certain nation. Check this out. That family part is important because, Lord have mercy, I'm going to do my best to help teach this right. But some of what we're calling generational curses have nothing to do with an evil spirit or an evil being. It has everything to do with decisions that people make. And there are certain families who have not ever achieved certain levels of certain things, and you think it's a curse. You might think it's a curse because you don't have a millionaire in your family. You might think it's a curse because a lot of people haven't attained an education. You might think it's a curse because people die at a young age, whatever. What I want you to understand is this. If you believe it's a curse, it's going to manifest as one. Woo! I'm going to 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay, you got the chance to think about that. If you think in your heart of hearts, I cannot achieve something because other people in my family did not achieve it, and this is just not something people in my family do, so I'm not going to be able to do it either. If you define yourself by that, then you will create a reality that produces that. You're a divine being, a divine species. So you will get a chance to create this. And guess what? Unless you decide to think differently, the Almighty is not going to stop you. I need you to hear what I'm saying. God will try and send messages through other people to shed light and present truth. But if you decide to persist in this belief system that you are cursed and your family is cursed, so you're going to always have to go down this pathway because others have gone down it before. If there's no other pathway before me, if you consider to continue to think that, then you're going to manifest that same path. This is what you're going to manifest. Say you come from a family of just ruined relationships. People are married 4, 5, 6 times, and they don't seem to be able to find love. And, folks are bitter and all this other kind of stuff. And, stuff just don't work out. And, you really know what true, genuine love, passion, and commitment is. And this is just the way it's been in my family. And it's been like that for generations. So that's why, you might say, I hadn't had, I loved them, but I hadn't been through 3 and, I done done this, that, and the other, and just, I just don't expect it to work out for me. But guess why it's not working out for you? It's not working out for you because you believe it's not supposed to work out for you. And you are attracting people. I'm going to say it again, you are attracting people into your world to fulfill the reality that you have created. And you ought not be hollering out why to the Almighty God. You ought to be hollering out why to yourself as a divine being, of a God class, of a God species, because you attracted that and you created that. That had nothing to do with no evil, sinister spirit. It has everything to do with you. If love don't last, something in you believe that it's not supposed to last. I need you to hear me real clearly today. This might not be popular, but it is most certainly is the truth. Let me finish with this quote. So we've got paraphrasing it, if you believe yourself to be defined by family, race, or even the nation that you're in. He goes on to say, do you honestly believe this of yourself? Then life, your true self, will cause these conceptions to appear in your world, and you will live with them as though they are real. End quote from the great Neville Goddard, one of the greatest mystics of the 20th century. These conceptions will appear in your world. I'm going to say it again. These conceptions will appear in your world. Oh my goodness. Can I share a personal testimony with y'all? Type yes or no. If you don't want me to share this, I'll move on. I'm going to finish up with revisiting Acts 17 and 28. Well, we talked a little bit about John 3, Nicodemus, the highest spiritual birth. But I want to share something with you. Okay, I got 2 yeses. Thank you. I'm going to move on. I'm going to share it. So many of y'all know that I've transitioned. I'm a licensed life and health insurance agent now in several states. Started a new company recently that's going to afford me the kind of lifestyle that I know and believe that I am worthy of. And it requires me to do something that I've never done before, and that is connect with people over the phone, present, and then sell and close. Never done that before. I've been a pastor, a counselor, and other things all my life, but never that. Never, ever that. And it was never a field I aspired to go into, but I saw the good that I can do in helping people prepare themselves to protect their families after they're gone. Now, that's not the extent of what I do, but with this company, that's the extent of what I do. Got out of training last week. Was super, super nervous. And, long and short of it is, I went to bed one night and I let me go back. Went to sleep, and I know that my spirit self, my subconscious self, talks to me through dreams. See, I know this now. I've been knowing this for years. Yes, sometimes it is the God part of me. Other times it is me, the divine part of me, talking to me in a dream. Never forget that. I've seen people's lives in dreams. Woke up, text them or called them and say, "This is what's going on," blah, blah, blah. They're in shock and amazed. Wow, that's it. And then the word comes and I go on to the next thing. A couple of things happened last week. Now, why am I saying this? I'm giving you this because I'm emphasizing what he says. Then life, your true self, will cause these conceptions to appear in your world, and you will live with them as though they are real. So in doing the inner work on myself, I'm learning more and more as I teach you and as I grow every day, my contribution to reality. My contribution to reality. So I'm already experiencing some challenges, but I'm navigating through these challenges, these current challenges, by faith, right? So I'm in this new space. I'm nervous. I'm uncomfortable. I've absorbed all the knowledge because I have prior little tiny experience in insurance before, but this is different. So I go to sleep one night, and in the dream, there's a man holding a sign up in the dream. And in the dream, he's holding a sign up and he says, "Dissolve pride." Dissolve pride. I'm like, what? Dissolve pride. Okay. So that morning, that day, we get off training, we go into the field live on calls. And the long and short of it is, I have a situation that happens where I'm supposed to be shadowed by trainers. Okay. And I get on a call. I have a problem with the dialer system. I'm being very transparent with you. And as I'm having a problem with the dialer system, I have the opportunity to close this person and make my first sale with this company, but the dialer system don't work. I'm reaching out to other folk through the company, through the means of communication that we have. Everybody else is occupied helping other people. So I'm on an island out here like I'm by myself. By this time, this dark cloud of thoughts moves in, which brings with it a dark cloud of emotions. All right. Remember, I've already a little bit nervous. I already had trepidation. I already had a little fear going here. I'm just going to be transparent with you. And I was already uncomfortable with it, but the support wasn't there. So I ended up having to apologize after being on the phone about 45 minutes with this person and saying, I'm going to have to schedule a recall with you to be able to close it. Okay. To be able to finish this. I apologize. The woman was motivated. I set up a call. Let me tell you something. So finally, when I'm done, one of the trainers finally calls me because the last message I left in our communication system was help, because I had already reached out several times. Nobody responded to me. All right. So I have this call. He's talking to me. He said, "What's wrong?" Naturally, they all respect me in the class. I'm pretty stoic. I am. I'm balanced. I'm analytical. I'm intellectual. They've already observed this. When I speak, people listen. I'm grateful to this. I'm not bragging. I'm saying thankful. So when I say I'm frustrated, he's shocked because that's not what I exude. I exude strictly confidence. And so I explained to him why I'm frustrated. So the long and short of it is, I get off the call with him. I had to do a counseling call session with somebody, did the counseling session. But by this time, I've psychoanalyzed myself and I realized what it is. Number one, that message that was spoken to me in the dream was, I didn't need to let pride get in the way. That's number one. But number two, I was triggered. I want everybody to type it in the comment section, triggered. Type triggered. I want everybody to type it in the comment section, type triggered. Type the word triggered. I'm going to try and finish up with Acts 17 if I can. If not, I'm going to finish up with this story so I won't go too long. Triggered. Let me tell you what triggered means. The last 13 years of my life have been hellish and hellified. And one of the things I have struggled with for years, even before these last 13 years, is being abandonment, betrayal, rejection. Abandonment, betrayal, rejection. I'm going to say it again. Abandonment, betrayal, rejection. This is a part of my story, my life. I have been abandoned. I've been betrayed, I've been rejected. So guess what? During that call, all those emotions, thoughts and emotions, and a whole lot more flooded my mind. Well, I'm a counselor. I know how to psychoanalyze myself. I realized that I was projecting on them. I'm going to be honest. I was thinking about not showing up to training the next day. I was thinking this is it. Because here I am in a situation where I'm by myself, where I'm literally feeling rejected. Where is your loyalty? You said you were going to be there for me. You were going to help me do this, that, and the other. I felt betrayed. I felt like the word was not kept. I felt like you didn't live up to your expectations. Now you got me out here. I could have done something to contribute to my financial situation by closing this person, but nobody is available to help me. All these years and years and years that I battled this, thought I had mastered it more completely than I had, began to surface in me. So that night was rough. That night was rough. Moving into the next day, I'm still contemplating what I need to do. So watch this. I go to sleep at night, that night, and I have another dream. My spirit self, my subconscious self is speaking to me again in a dream. Watch this. So guess what? In this dream, famous rappers in the area are coming to me, asking me different questions about life, spirituality, life, this, that, and the other. Watch this. Watch this. So I'm sharing this for a reason, because once again, I'm emphasizing that our conceptions can create realities for us. But family, if you stay connected with the power that's in you, it will guide you in the right direction. So that night I go to sleep. I have this dream. These famous rappers are reaching out to me for consultation. One of the rappers, who's a well-known rapper, asked me a question. He says, now what about the amygdala? He says, what about the amygdala? And in the dream, I can't quite remember what the amygdala is. I know it's a part of the brain because, in counseling, I had to study certain parts of the brain. I just hadn't, been acquainted with it recently. So when I woke up, I knew this message is for me. I get up, I do my hygiene. One of the first things I do is I open our phone up and I Google amygdala. And then the definition comes up. It is a part of the brain that is responsible for fight, flight, or fight. Flight or fight. That was a message to me that my amygdala, listen to this, had been triggered, and I was in fight or flight mode, or flight or fight mode. And it was the truth, because I told you, I was considering flight over fight. So I'm like, okay, I get the message. Get into the class that morning. We had to do a brief class before we went out to the floor because we're still in training. One of the trainers her headset had died. She had indicated it the night before. She said she appealed to somebody else to help me. By the time my help came, as I explained, it came too late. One of the first things she said when she came on, she is a certified coach and she's a spiritual teacher. Who happens to be a trainer for this corporation. One of the first things she said to me was, Anthony, I did not abandon you. And when she said that, I said within myself, wow, we are all really connected, aren't we? She said, I did not abandon you. She explained again what happened. She apologized. Okay. I felt better, but I was still in my feelings. I was still being troubled. Okay. Okay. And I was still trying to decide, even after the training, if I'm getting back on these phones today. Literally, I was trying to decide that. And I work from home. So it just as it so happened, I was the last person on this meeting of normally 11 people. I was the last person because there was something she needed to go over with me on my computer, meaning that dialing issue that I had the day before. She was helping another person in class, and she helped me last. And I had already made up in my mind I was going to ask her a personal question. a question. So we worked through the technical aspects of my dialer system. And then at the end, I said, now you're a coach. I discerned this from day one that I was going to eventually be talking to you. And I said, I need some advice. I'm a person who's always giving advice. Now I need some advice from you as a coach. And then I just opened up my heart for like 5 minutes and said, this is what has happened to me. And I got triggered. What has happened to me in the last 13 years, and I was triggered from yesterday. Can you share something with me to help me cope? I kid you not. Listen to this. This woman started talking to me from her own professional experience, years and years of experience working with everybody from superstars to corporate America. It was great advice. I'm taking notes. Okay. And she gets to the part and she says, you know what? We can find ourselves in these situations when we get triggered, Anthony, and we can end up in our amygdala. I said, stop. Stop right there. And she looked at me. She's like, okay. I had just had a rapper ask me in my dream about the amygdala. I had just looked it up the first thing that morning. This woman ends up talking about the amygdala, and then she tells me the brain chemicals that are released when we get into that state of fight, flight, and as she says, freeze or appease. I had to stop her in that moment. You know why I stopped her, right? Because I had already seen the word and heard the word in my dream. Do you think it was a coincidence that she mentioned that word to me? No. Once again, the inner power in me is shaping my narrative, shaping my story, shaping, listen to this, my reality anew to tell me, diagnose, this is what's happening, and confirm it with a person the next day or later that morning. Am I making any sense to anybody here? Is anybody hearing what I'm saying right now? Because I had created a belief that I am responsible for my reality. I do it with God. And now there is an awareness that I am definitely being guided by God. Are you following me? So the confirmations that are also called synchronicities take place to continue to guide me. Listen to this. So this is the confirmation of what I said to you before. Things don't happen to you, they happen through you. Are you hearing me? They happen through you. So we had this powerful conversation. I still needed some time to think and process because that's who and what I am. Even up through this day, I'm thinking and processing, but I was able to get back on that phone, make some powerful connections with people. Are you hearing me? Develop some powerful situations to help encourage me to keep doing what I'm doing. And what the reason I brought that up to say is because if you develop a conviction that people are doing stuff to you, and you don't develop the mindset that it might have happened to me, but I get to interpret the outcome of what they did to me, then I'm stuck in a reality where I'm reactive and not proactive. Last but not least, over the weekend, dealing with my own thoughts, somebody is encouraging me. I fell asleep, just went to sleep because I got tired of talking about it. Powerful encouragement, even that I woke up to this morning concerning situations and circumstances. And before I woke up this morning, and this happens a lot, and this is the place I want you to get to, where you're in contact with the God that is already a part of you. Before I opened my eyes, I heard the word spoken like I'm talking to you in my ears. Persevere. Did you hear what I just said? Well, it was something similar to what the person had told me, the loved one had told me the night before. I wake up this morning and I hear it. It's like an audible voice. Before I open my eyes, and you know how you get to the place, I'm conscious enough to know, when I'm laying there, before it's about time for me to open my eyes, I'm coming out of this deep unconsciousness into consciousness, and I'm getting ready to open my eyes, and I hear the voice say, persevere. I'm sharing this with you because if you develop the conviction in your faith to know that this is really a partnership, to know that you really have a say-so as a co-creator in this life, then God will guide you from within. Ooh, I feel that so strong. I'm going to say it again. God will guide you from within. Acts 17:28. For in him we live and move. We live, meaning that we are dependent on his life and interdependent on relationship with him. We move, which means that we derive strength from God. We have our being, which means that our existence depends on him. And we are his offspring, which means that we are his kin, we are his family. Listen to this. We are his stock. We are of his nation. Remember the word offspring from the Greek word genos. We get the modern day word genetics from. Are you hearing what I'm saying today? There is a power that lives within. There is a power that you and I possess inwardly. There is a voice that will guide us daily if we allow it. He will not just speak through other people. He will speak from within the inside of us. And if you can only become aware of that voice, only become aware of that power, only become aware of that I amness that is already present in you, that he will guide you and navigate you. This God will guide you and navigate you. This God will lead you and guide you. This voice will reveal to you all that you need to know through the form of an unction. All knowingness, omniscience exists in you. It exists in the divine. It exists within the God part of yourself. Just allow it to take the wheel. Just allow it to co-navigate with you. Just allow it to flow in you. Just allow it to flow through you. Just allow it to embrace you and guide you and show you and reveal to you. Ooh, my. The same voice that has guided me through so many things is the same voice that will continue to guide me through what we consider to be the present and moving forward. In him you live, you move, you have your being. He is as much alive in you as you are alive in him. I sense this so strongly. This word is for somebody. It doesn't have to make sense. Did you hear what I said? It doesn't have to make sense as long as you know that it is God or the God portion of you or the God self, the I am speaking from within you. It does not have to make sense as long as you know that's what it is. There are many times I have been led to go a certain direction, didn't understand why, and there was a blessing on that route for me, on that path for me. And what I'm saying to you today is that in him you do literally live, you do literally move, you do literally have your being, and never ever forget that you are his offspring. I want you to type the word in the comment section, offspring. Type that in the comment section, offspring. Type that in the comment section, offspring. Type that in the comment section. Offspring. Offspring. You can't help but be like God if you're his offspring. You are his offspring. Use the power to create a world that you love. Use the power to create a reality that you believe you're worthy of. Did you enjoy the presentation today? I'm going to get off here. I'm going to pray, release you. Did you enjoy the presentation today? Did you enjoy it? Did you receive it? Did you receive it? Did it bless you? Hallelujah. I don't normally do this, but is there any one particular thing you want me to touch on before I get off here? Thank you for the likes and hearts. Any one thing you want me to touch on before I get off here? Somebody said, yes, I received the message. Somebody else said so much. Then I see some emojis here. Wonderful. Wonderful, 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 wonderful. Almighty, I thank you today for miracles, signs, and wonders that we know are taking place in the lives of people. Thank you that a new reality is emerging out of the hearts of people. The power they already possess, they're learning how to use in a magnanimous way. They're using it in a way that's going to bring them happiness, that's going to bring them joy, that's going to bring them peace, that's going to bring them the lifestyle you've always desired for them to live. And I just want to bless you in this moment and in this hour. I declare and decree that healing and sickness are made whole. I declare and decree that thoughts are clearing up. Pathways are being made. Miracles are taking place in finances. Miracles are taking place in the mind. Miracles are taking place in families. Hallelujah. Thank you for new cars. Thank you for new homes. Thank you that their faith and their partnership with them is creating success, abundance, and prosperity they've never witnessed or experienced before. Thank you for healing broken hearts, mending wounded spirits. I thank you, I thank you, I thank you, I thank you. I thank you, I magnify you, I glorify you, I adore you. It is so. So it is. Thank you, Yeshua. Thank you for the likes. Thank you for the hearts. Krista, believe in yourself. Believe in yourself. Believe in yourself. I want you to practice the mirror exercise, Krista. I want you to look at yourself in the mirror often and declare and decree who you really are. Mm-hmm. Is she still on here? Where is she? Is she still on here? I'm looking for Pamela Moore. You still on here, Pamela? This goes for you too. This is for you too. I want you to look in the mirror as often as possible and declare and decree who you are. Speak to yourself who you really are. Shanzaid, I want you to do the same thing every day. Speak to yourself. You're not just speaking to the person in the mirror that's a projection of your image. You're speaking to the inner you. You're speaking to the inner you.
You are educating the inner you. You are inspiring the inner you. You are adjusting and correcting the inner you. Hey, my God, I sense that's so strong for somebody right now. Speak, declare, decree, and believe that it is so. And so it is. You can use the given opportunities at the bottom of the screen. Visit us there. The word has blessed you. Thank you, thank you, thank you so much. I'm gonna have to do a conversation session when I get on here one time and not just teach, just talk to everybody. See where everybody is. And we talk on a few things that are on your heart at that particular time. I sense it. The shift is already here, family. I'm going to say it again. The shift is already here. I said one more time. The shift is already here. I want you to type in capital letters, shift. I want you to type in capital letters, shift. I want you to type in capital letters, shift. This is a prophetic word. This is an activating word in your reality. Shift. I'm getting ready to call everybody's name who's still on here. When I call your name, you're going to see the shift. Krissa Harris, shift. Pamela Moore, shift. Denisa T. McCall, shift. Shan Zaid, shift. Woo. My God, I sense that so strong. Maybe I should say my own name, right? Anthony G. Green, shift. And if you just came on and you want me to call your name for the shift, you better speak up right now. I've called everybody's name who's on. I'm not a lying man of God. I'm not a lying divine species. When I said shift, you shifted. I don't care if you felt it or not. You shifted into something better. Okay. Kiara Moore, shift. Is there anybody else? Oh, my friend Charlotte Anderson, shift. Woo-hoo. I feel something. If I was in church in a building, I'd probably be running across the floor, although I can run in my house. My God. Shift, 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 shift. Something has shifted in you. That means something has shifted in your reality. And it shifted right now. Given it shall be given unto you, my loved ones. Led to give today, don't hesitate to go there and sow your tithe and your offering. Thank you for your messages of love and encouragement. And I release you today with the shalom blessing. Shalom, shalom, peace, wholeness, prosperity, nothing missing, nothing broken. Thank you, Yeshua. It is so. It's so. Happy Father's Day to all.